So here we are on the next day. It's Saturday. I wanted to get some video of the last bit of the St. Lawrence that the highway runs along, but the battery was just too low on the camera. So I thought, I'd just charge it and keep driving. And by the time that I had enough charge, I already got onto Highway 20, heading across Quebec. This is actually, it's not quite the Trans-Canada. There's a ways up where the Trans-Canada actually comes from New Brunswick up and merges onto Highway 20, and it's Trans-Canada that from that point forward, going across the remainder of Quebec until you get into Ontario, and it's the 401 again. This is a two-lane highway right now. This will eventually split into two separate divided highway, basically a divided highway, 2 lanes this way, 2 lanes coming. This is actually a much better road than 132. It's more well cared for than Highway 132 is back on heading towards Gaspé or to or from Gaspé. What you'll see as we come across, like even here across some of these overpasses, there's a lot of bumps in this road, and you'll see one right here. Now you imagine going across these, and you're hauling behind you, and you're on a pickup truck, and you're hauling behind you a 7,000-pound trailer, 7,000-pound RV, and there's all sorts of little bumps like this along the way. That really, and you're doing about 110 kilometers an hour. So the limit here is 100 kilometers an hour. You can push it up to about 110. And you can imagine the kind of bounce you're getting out of that trailer. So here's another one coming. You can just see the ridge. Okay, and you got this going across, half the province. Okay, well, you doing this kind of bounce, that freaks you out. It tosses all this stuff around inside your trailer, and it's just crazy. So that's why I say the roads here are awful when you're traveling, and I really do think that Quebec must hate visitors, tourists who are coming through here, especially those with RVs. And if they're leaving the roads like this with all these friggin' bumps and pits and stuff like that, because you just bounce all over the friggin' place. And I a couple of times coming back, I've driven this back and forth a number of times, and I always hate coming this way. So I'm actually really starting to think I want to take a look and find out what the traffic or what the route would be if I were to go instead down by way of the northern states, Vermont and New Hampshire and stuff like that, and Maine, to get across into New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Because I tell you, honest to God, this sucks. These roads suck. It's smooth right now. You get the little bumps here and there, but when you hit those big, massive ones and you're hauling an RV, it's just awful. I don't see why they continue that. They should fix these things. So right now I'm probably about 45 minutes out of Rimouski, Quebec. This is where I would have stayed, or this is where I did stay. In fact, coming out and going back with the trailer. And there's a nice campground there. I can't remember. It's a KOA, but it's just outside of Rimouski. But it was beautiful. We are. Let me just see if I can. Can't really see it right now, but we are just kind of just at the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, they're kind of in that direction, off to the left. But we're right at the edge, and this campground is just on the one side of the mountain. See, or it's, I don't know if you call it a mountain really anymore. It's still I guess it is still technically the mountain. But anyways, yeah. So this is the area, or so this is where I am. So until Rimouski. So we're getting into the area. It's probably I don't want to say another 45 minutes into Rimouski. Provincial parks here. But it is a nice still. Oh, there you see a little bit of the Atlantic, or not the Atlantic, sorry, the St. Lawrence Seaway, St. Lawrence River. This is the first time I've ever driven this at this time of year, so it's the first time seeing snow out here. It's not too bad temperature-wise. It's only about -1 right now, but I'm more concerned about what's doing on the roads. They haven't been too bad this morning. Mostly cleared. Just coming out of the little town I stayed in last night. There you go, Bas Saint Laurent. Bas Saint Laurent that's where Bas Saint Laurent KOA. That's the place. It's actually we're not far from Rimouski now. Maybe less than 45 minutes. Maybe only half an hour. But yeah, so I'm just a little bit worried about what the roads are going to be like, because I don't know how quickly the roads freeze out here. And we are -1, and we are just a little ways away from the river, so that it's good enough that we could get just like the fresh water down in here and freeze quicker than if we had the salt water. So, anyways, wanted to give you a bit of a show of the trip here. So this is literally just about 2 minutes since I ended the last recording, and you can see how quickly the weather is coming in here. And I'm just a little nervous at this point, but you see how quickly it comes in, and how quickly it got dark. And how quickly it's going to pass through again. That's the kind of weather you get here in the Appalachian Mountains. It can really make a big difference in a very short period of time, or really have a big difference in a short period of time. We're getting a little bit of a clearing. Guys who were doing at least 110 slowed right down to, I guess it was 95, 94, and now that it's clearing up again, I'll bet they start pulling off again soon. Like here, we're already up to near 100. The snow's picked up, but it got as dark. But you see the roads cleared right up, so that's what I worry about when it starts getting covered like that. It usually means that the ground is colder, and it's either freezing or it's going to stick. And I think I'm going to get over to the side here, but there's a guy behind me. See if he wants to pass. He doesn't want to. We're gonna merging back in a few hundred meters, anyways. So. Stay behind this guy. Yeah, there we go. But this will come and go throughout this whole section for probably the next half hour or so. You start to get a feeling for the mountain here. We're kind of at the foothills of it right now. So we're now at the point where the highway is split into a divided highway, and this will stay pretty much the entire way, all the way across to the Ontario border. And when it turns into the 401, so it's we're near River de Loup, and there's the sign for the actual river. And there's a town over there. So yeah, looks like there's still, we're still relatively close to the St. Lawrence, right over here to the right. And again, the road sucks. It's been on and off like this all the way. A little bit of smoothness. So, again, we're still well. At this point, we're pretty much at the edge of the Appalachians. This hasn't yet become the Trans-Canada. That's still a little ways up. I think it's not far past River de Loup, where the Trans-Canada will come up from New Brunswick and merge with us. But it's coming soon, I think. So, not as scenic, I don't think, but it's not a horrible view. Clear up a little bit of the view there. Yeah, just in time for showing you weeds and trees. Actually, here you can see the other side of the St. Lawrence River. It's not quite so wide now. I think, let's see if I take a look. I think we're probably about 2 hours out of Quebec City at this point. So, still a lot of travel to do. 400 kilometers until we get into the Montreal area. So that's about four-ish hours, thereabouts. And then from there, it's only a few hours home. I get 5 hours home. So it's 9.5 hours to home right now. Still a little over 1,000 kilometers. So we've done about 500-ish, I guess. I don't know. Thereabouts, anyways. Well, we're now probably about, I don't know, hour and a half outside of Quebec City. We're on the far side of River de Loup. So I think we're probably about an hour. But all the snow seems to have pretty much gone away, which is nice. The roads are a lot clearer, and there's a couple of flurries patches that we were driving through, that I drove through. I'm really used to saying we, because I usually have a dog or somebody in the car with me. Anyways, still a little bit of the St. Lawrence Seaway right here. You can see, like I said, you can see the other side. Yeah, the snow is all cleared up, so it should be good for the rest of the trip. I don't know if there's any more snow predicted for the rest of the trip. I'm hoping that I get home this evening and don't have to make another stop and sleep for any time, because it would just be, a massive time suck for me to go, and I'd be like only a couple hours away from home and just, say, I can't stay awake, must sleep, need pillow. Anyways, I could always grab I got a neck pillow in the back, and I could always, pull over someplace and leave the truck running and take an hour nap. I could do that, but I didn't bring any kind of eye mask. Oh, here we are, 134 kilometers from Quebec City, so we're probably about an hour and a quarter out. Alright, so that's not so bad. So I don't really have anything to cover my eyes. So, but yeah, like I said, it would suck to get so far and not actually get home tonight. So I think I'm gonna try and just do the push and get all the way home. from Montreal, it's only about 5 hours. So I'm looking at probably about, well, it does say here just under 9 hours, and it is only 11 o'clock. So I may be able to, carry on and make it through to home. But the nice thing that I did again want to say in our show is the lack of any snow, which that's going to make my life a little bit easier on driving. Well, let's see, where are we? So we are now just outside of Quebec City. It's actually, if you go into, we just passed the sign for Levi. If you go into Levi, there's the bridge that goes across the river into Quebec City, but you can't see it because of the trees here. But I just got a phone call from, or over Facebook, from Mark Anbinder. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. And it was nice to have somebody call and talk for a little bit and just keep me awake and keep me going. It's hard doing these road trips, and yeah, it was nice to talk to somebody. Just past Quebec provincial police officer back, I guess a couple of kilometers now. Parked over on the side. I don't know if he was actually like trapping it, radar trapping or anything like that. But I figured he should have probably pulled me over, but he didn't. So I'm going a little faster than I normally should. I actually started speeding up because there was a nice flow of traffic with people, and I thought I'd just kind of go with it for a bit. I should probably slow down shortly, but I'm gonna stop for some gas. I'm down to a quarter tank right now, and I have to stop ahead for some gas at some point. So I get down to about an eighth of a tank, and that's when I'll pull in and I'll stop for some fuel, and maybe at that point I'll probably get some lunch. I actually got some lunch over in one of the bags next to me. But the corridor I'm in right now, we're still on Highway 20. It is now the Trans-Canada back. Trans-Canada joined up from New Brunswick back at River de Loup, and so it's just, there's a little bit of snow here on the ground. It did go all completely away for a time, which was great because on the road it's all dry and decent anyways, which is great. But I prefer driving on dry roads than even a modicum of moisture at all. Any kind of spray sucks. You can see pretty well here as well, and then some clouds. It's not too bad, but it's not a bad area right now. So let's see. Here we go. I'm 8 hours from home, 7 hours 52 minutes. That's not including obviously any gas or food stops. I did do those periodically for sure, but we're getting home. We're getting there. So we've just done the split of the highway, and I'm on my way to Montreal, which is really good. There we go. Yes, I'm doing proper driving technique, and I'm looking around. So this is really Centerville of Levi, I guess. Here we go. See where, and we're heading towards Montreal on Highway 20. And this is like the most populated area right now. When we get to Montreal, that's where we really will get a good population center. Quebec has got a lot of really nice historic sites that I've been to that before. Been there before, and I really enjoyed the bus tour that I was on there. But didn't get a lot of time. It was really a single day trip when I was last year. I guess 2-3 years ago, yeah, something like that. So anyways, but yeah, now we're actually on the road to now to Montreal. So das ist gut, yeah, das ist very good. Snow, yeah, is going away. What else? I don't have really anything to say. I'm waiting for somebody to call me and pay attention to me, because, well, it's. Oh, here we go. Here's a sign. 235 kilometers to Montreal. That means 2 hours, 2 hours 20 minutes, let's say, to Montreal. So it's I'll be there about 2 in the afternoon. And then Drummondville, I think, was another 100 and change. Nothing really. I don't think there's anything really valuable or important in Drummondville. But, yeah. So it's. I wouldn't call this an exactly scenic area. We're now well past the St. Lawrence. It's far over on my left, but you've got this whole industrial area here. So there's a Kenworth dealership, Finar, I don't know who that is. Some other places, there's a Kubota dealership if you want a backhoe or other piece of machinery. And yeah, so there's an industrial section, and then beyond those trees over at the side there is where realistically the St. Lawrence is again. So we won't see it anymore on this trip, but I'm going to be driving along and traveling and just chilling. So I think I'm going to end up, when I put this all together, I'll stitch this together as one big film and throw it onto YouTube. I'm going to have to learn how to make chapters on YouTube videos. I do not know how to do. I don't even know who's actually going to want to watch this anyways. It's kind of boring. Hey, look, John Deere. Look at John Deere dealership. There we go. There it goes. So I don't even know who's going to watch this, but if nothing else, it makes for a good travel log for myself. Taking some pictures along the ways as well. And there's a fromagerie about a kilometer up. I should go in there and I should get some cheese. No, not really. I'm not that big into cheese. Oh well. I asked Debbie when I left, or when she dropped me off at the airport. I asked her if she wanted me to bring anything home, and she said no. Just get home safe. Okay. So we had I've already told the story on Facebook about the airport. I arrived. So my flight was 6:20 a.m. on Friday, and we figured, since it's a domestic flight, that we could probably get me there for around 6ish, and I could get through check-in and security and blah 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 and get on the flight, and away we go. Well, we should have been there. The agent at the Air Canada counter started giving me shit because I was there. I should have been there at least an hour before my flight, and because the boarding was already taking place for my flight when I arrived, which I thought was a little bit crazy, but okay. So we're wrong about domestic flights in Canada. And yeah, she had to call me over there, trying to rebook me and move me to another flight, which that was great. So, but then the second person started giving me shit, and then they said they weren't they could get me onto a second flight to Montreal, but it was going to arrive after the departure of my second flight to Gaspé. That's when I started panicking and freaking out. So this is 11 weeks of hell. I really have to get this done. I started freaking, and they started getting mad at me for that. And I'm like, listen, you don't understand. And I gave them a quick rundown on what happened, and I said, this is just adding, to the 11 weeks of hell that I have been experiencing. And now they did manage to put me onto a flight to Montreal, the very next flight, in fact. So I got there, instead of getting to Montreal at around 7:30, I got there at 8 o'clock. And they said, when you get to Montreal, you have to run to the next gate, and you won't be checked in on that. So you'll have that flight. So you have to check in on the flight, and they'll have to print you a boarding pass. So sure enough, okay, I get there, and I got to I got to Montreal, and I got off, and I ran because let's see, I got off. I think it was at gate number 6 in Montreal or something like that, 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. And then I had to run to gate 32. And so I, being a fat guy that I am, I nearly gave myself a heart attack. But I made it there with still. I was at 8 o'clock, and the boarding started happening. I arrived in the airport at 8 o'clock. I got there at 8:30. Flight was supposed to depart at 9 o'clock. They started boarding just a few minutes after I arrived, and but they had a problem that apparently when they were arranging my flights, they somehow double booked me onto this flight in Montreal to Gaspé. And so they had to, the other airline, PAL Airlines, had to rearrange and reorganize and get that sorted out and make sure there's only one seat for me and not two, and then print my boarding pass. Well, it took them a little bit of time, and they called up their call center, and they got me, so that the flight was right, because the one that was on my booking sheet from my travel agent was the correct one, but for whatever reason, when they tried booking me in on that, or checking me in on that, it wasn't working. So they had to call the help center, the help desk. They got it fixed, and then for whatever reason, she forgot that she had to give me a boarding pass. So I said, she says, okay, you can go on board. I said, I mean, you need a boarding pass. Oh, and 2 or 3 minutes figuring that out, getting me a boarding pass, and then I walk over there. And the next thing they have to do is they take a look at your identification, and they look at the boarding pass, and they scan the boarding pass, and the boarding pass wouldn't scan, which was just great. So another couple of minutes there, and they tap a few things on the keyboard and the computer, and then it would scan properly. Everything's cool, and then I get on the plane. So the last day where I'm flying out to pick up my truck so I can actually bring it home was fraught with its own issues, partly because of me, partly because of weird airline stuff. So it just matched the preceding 11 weeks. Here we go, bump. Oh, yeah, there we go. And see, that's why I don't like driving. So not that this is really an important story to tell, but I thought it was fun. It took some time. What else are we doing? So, I'm still... Next stop is going to be soon to get some gas. I think I'm probably going to go at the next gas station or service center I see, get some gas, have a bite to eat, and I'll post on Facebook that Mark called me on Facebook, so anybody who wants to call me actually can. There is now, let's see, 7.5 hours still on my trip home. 2 hours to Montreal, and then 5.5 hours to get home. So plenty of time still for people to call me. I hope somebody else does. Still waiting for Debbie to call too. I asked her this morning to give me a call and just talk to me in part of this drive. So far, no call from my lovely wife. Maybe soon. Okay, I guess I'll close up this section of the video and record some more later. Might as well entertain you folks with at least one gas fill up. It's being cold out here. Okay. Let's change to English so I can read this. And of course, there's no English instructions, but that's okay. I know how to. Actually, no. Yeah, I left my phone inside. I think I blocked that. I'll have to check that when I get home and start editing the video. And if it does, I'll have to just take out this portion of that video. select grade. I think I'm going to go for regular. And lift the nozzle. Tap. Tap. Somewhere where it's metal. Okay. Select grade. I already did. Receipt. Okay. There's an A&W over here. Now I noticed that there was there's a Wendy's up the street too. I noticed, but I already bought myself some lunch, so I don't even know if I need to really. I think I'll just pull over to the side and I'll eat the lunch that I've already got, because that would be a waste. Oh, so exciting, isn't it? 20% points with our partner member points. I don't know. Visit petropoints.ca. And this is why I don't often come to Quebec, because I can't read any fucking thing on the screen. Couch tard. I don't know what it means. I don't know. Oh, the puppy dog. There we go. And I get my receipt, and I'll move the truck. It takes a long time to print the receipt. It did not print a receipt. Okay, what pump number am I at? Okay. Let's grab a key. Pump 3. Never, ever leave without a receipt. If they decide to call you, so call the cops and say, hey, if they didn't pay, you got proof. Hi. Cut it. After you. Oh, I just want to get a receipt for pump number 3. Because I guess you're out of paper out there.
Doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work? It doesn't love people. Alright, thanks folks.
Have a nice day.
You too. Keep it. Oh shit. There's all the receipts I had for my trip down, I guess. Okay. I want to pull over, I guess, in the parking lot over there. Okay. Okay. I just want to park somewhere so I can have my lunch quietly and not disturb anyone. I'm going to park over the side. Oh! Alright. Alright. Okay, so is it 12:18? Okay, lunch is finished. And we're going to get back on the road now. 7.5 hours to go. It's alright. So I have to go towards Montreal. Mostly the reason that I stopped the camera for lunch was because I really didn't want you guys to see me go pee. I didn't think that would be appropriate content. But here we go. We had some lunch. We had I have another one in here for later. Well, I had actually purchased this for tomorrow, but I got one of these for lunch. And I got two of them. I thought maybe I'll take 2 days to get home. I don't know. So I got a second one just in case I need lunch tomorrow. But I probably won't need it. So what I'll do is I'll probably snack on that later in the afternoon. Maybe that will be my supper as I approach home. And then I don't have to have a late night dinner. But I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, now here we go. I need to get this way to go to Montreal. Montreal. Okay. There's a 4-way stop. Here we go. I also took some time to set up my phone over here so that I can actually maybe take a call or two, or can even throw it on Facebook Live and maybe stream a bit to home or out to the world and see who's around, who's on, who's watching, who wants to see me do anything from the trip. But I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything yet. Oh, and beside me is pulling up a Blazer EV. I think it's a Blazer. I'll slow down enough for him to pass me so I can take a look. Yeah, there is a Blazer RS. Blazer RS EV. It's pretty much the same as what Debbie has, except that Debbie has hers in black. Hers has a different back end though. That's interesting. That one actually has a tow point. Not sure that I want to tow much with an EV, but something to consider. Okay. I'm going to have to get into traffic now because, well, we just need to go. So the Blazer EV, there it is from behind. And there it goes. And I'm going to lock myself in. And I'm going to pass it. Why? Just because I'm feeling like it. Alright. So, back on the road, heading for Montreal. Who knows? Maybe I'll record a little bit once we get into the city. I don't think I'll actually get into the city itself. I think I'm not sure if I'll end up on the 30 bypass or if I'll take the tunnel through to see how it wants me to go. How Mr. Google wants me to go. But we'll see. Alright. So I joked on Facebook about how so far I haven't seen anyone following me around the Montreal area, and I joked with Karen about that. And lo and behold, I see a cube van looking very similar to the one that I was driving home back in September. Never going to look at these kind of U-Haul cube vans ever again, in quite the same light as I did before. But I thought coming across one on the drive home in Gaspé, I should pay some homage to the vehicle that got me back home in September. Me and the trailer back home in September, and take some video of it. Alright, so we're in Montreal, well, just outside of Montreal, and I'm getting off on Highway 30, which bypasses the bulk of Montreal. This is actually how I went in the summer, but I can get off to go to a campground here, which is what I did in the summer, or I can just follow the circle all the way around the city and go through a toll booth. Which is probably what it is what I'm going to do, because I don't have a campsite there, and I don't have a trailer to plug into a campsite. So I just have to merge over here nice and neat and tidy, as the people here drive like fucking maniacs. Okay, so here we are. We're on Highway 30. Guy behind me in the Volkswagen, or chick behind me in the Volkswagen, whichever it is, wanted to be a prick and zip around past me. It's like, maybe you should just wait to see what the car in front of you is doing. But no. I had to decide to speed up and go past them. People in Montreal are worse drivers, I think, than in Toronto. They drive me bananas. Okay, so now it's a 76-kilometer route around Montreal. So roughly 45 minutes around the city. And then 5 hours home. So it's 2:30 now. Yeah, I have to brake. These guys are not going fast enough. There's a lot of traffic here today, but it looks like we're going to go around the city. It's not much to look at, really. It's just, at this time of year, it's just all scrub anyways. All the grass has gone dormant, and all the plants. What's the temperature right now? 4 degrees Celsius here in Montreal, so thankfully no snow. I don't know what I think in the 401 corridor down into Toronto, it should be fine, no snow or anything like that, so we'll be alright. I can go back to my regular speed soon. Thought I'd check in. So there is a way to get to downtown Montreal here this way. I don't know exactly how, but there is apparently a way to do it. And traffic is busy. Okay, 10 after 5 on Saturday night, or Saturday evening, I should say. I had a good hour-long conversation with Bran and with Debbie each, so I am very appreciative that they called and kept my brain going for a bit, but I needed to stop for some gas and to have a quick bite to eat and bathroom break. So now that things are refilled, refueled, and appropriately emptied, getting back on the road. I'm in Ontario. Only 3.5 hours remain on the trip, according to Mr. Google, and here we are back on the highway. I wasn't able to do the video, or do a video, I should say, as I crossed from the Quebec into the Ontario border. I kind of wanted to, but I was on the phone with Bran, and that actually was talking was more important to me than recording this for whatever posterity there is. It's much nicer to actually hear from somebody talk for a while and actually enjoy some time driving than hey, let's take a video. But yeah, I know it's been a good trip. The truck has been holding up pretty good. I can't complain, anyways. Other than the gear shift is a little bit stiff and sticky at the top, so I'm gonna make an appointment with my local dealership because I really didn't want. When I first got in the truck and I started to drive away from Gaspé, I felt it. And I'm like, first of all, the shop is closed. Second of all, I don't want to wait for them to get back, and I don't want to wait for them to mess around with it and try and do whatever. And then try and obviously charge me for something that this wasn't a problem beforehand, but whatever. So I'll talk with my home dealership, and at least then with an issue on the gear shift, I can get them to deal with that. That's not going to cause a problem, and hopefully that'll get everything all sorted out, and away we go. Then I get the finance portion packaged up and sent off to our friends at Generous Motors and see about getting some money back to put on my credit card. This has been a very expensive experience for me, for something that should have been fixed back in April, end of April, May. So yeah, so I'm almost home now. Where am I now? So I'm Mallorytown is where I am. Mallorytown, Ontario. So that's I'm just past the exit for Kemptville, which is about an hour north of the 401, and it says 3.5 hours, but I'm not sure how that's actually accurate. I will see as I get back closer to Ajax and Oshawa what's happening with the highway there, and whether I'm going to take the toll road bypass and get home, because if it's bad in Toronto, which I suspect it probably will be, taking the toll road will be a nice little bypass and get me home quicker. There was a cop at the in that little turnaround point there. Thankfully there were cars that were going faster than me, so hopefully that cop stopped, pull out, and start following me. Okay, that looks so far so good. Okay, so that's all for now. I guess I will record a bit more as I get closer to home. Alright, so we're on pretty much the home stretch at this point. We're on the 407. Our lovely toll highway, excuse me, coming across the top of the city. Actually, it's a bit of a time saver, even though it's probably going to cost me about, I don't know, it's going to cost me some money anyways coming across. But I got ye old transponder up here, so it should be okay. Won't be a crazy stupid amount. But most of it is just avoiding the traffic down on the 401. So you get north, and you're north of the city at this point, where the bulk of the traffic is. So we're just about to pass the 400, which goes north-south to Barrie. We're kind of driving through, well, it is the top end of the city. I don't get to see it too often at night, but there's, sometimes it's pretty at night, but I drive this once a week going to and from the office. But yeah, this is really the home stretch for me. I got about half an hour left to get home, and then that's it, I'm done. I'll probably record the last little bit of my trip as I get into town and into Georgetown and pull into the driveway. Then I gotta figure out when I'm gonna actually put this together and record into stitch it all together and throw it up on YouTube. So just a little ways left to go. Alright, this is it. Last part of the trip. 1,500 odd kilometers later. Here we are. Down to the last 3.5 kilometers at this point. Pulling into Georgetown. So let's see. 12 hours, 13 hours, I should say, on the road today. Including pit stops for gas, food, bathroom, etc. Yesterday on the road from about, I want to say around roughly 1:30, 2 o'clock until 6 at night. So let's say 4 or 5 hours yesterday through the worst part of the weather. Yesterday was the awful weather. Yeah, all in Gas Bay. What the hell? So I just got... No, somebody else was being honked at, not me. Gas prices in Quebec were almost $1.60. Back in Ontario, they're only $1.50. And I think, how many times did I stop for gas? Three stops for gas, I think, the whole trip. So, I mean, that's not too bad. But it's a lot. Now, Georgetown has a bit of a dusting of snow. I talked to Debbie just before I pulled into town here, and she warned me that there was a little bit of dusting, but I didn't see anything anywhere else outside of town. So from Quebec City all the way over to here, really nothing. Which, you know, was actually really, really good. And even with the slight dusting we got here in Georgetown while I was away, the roads are still really good. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I guess it's warning me to slow down. And I am so glad to be pulling into Georgetown with my truck. Relatively intact. I still have to take it over to Georgetown Chev and have them check out. Oh, yeah, let's stop. Have them check out the problem with the gear shift and with a rattle that I've got underneath, or kind of a whiny noise underneath. And I don't think it's anything to do with the drivetrain. I don't think it's anything to do with the transfer case or four-wheel drive or anything like that. I think it's just the wind that gets underneath. It's vibrating a heat shield or something underneath. I think that's the problem. But the bigger problem really is in the gear shift, and I'll illustrate that when I get home. I'll wait till I get home. I don't want to do it here on the highway, or on the road, because who knows what might happen. It's been good every time I stopped and, you know, needed to get out and come back in, but I don't want to take too much of a chance. A little bit of cleanup I got to do in the car, or the truck I should say, just to pack up and get my stuff inside. But it's been, I flew out of here Friday morning, yesterday morning we left Georgetown quite early. I think it was actually got out of the door at about 5:30. And stupid mistake on my part, thinking we only needed about a half an hour to get, you know, through security and board the plane for a domestic flight. Apparently we need more like an hour or more. But we got here, we got out there, we got back. That's the most important thing. So, Debbie's picked up some lunch for me, some dinner for me, so that I can have a bite to eat when I get in. Now it's just the final bit of getting home. 230 meters. That's it. Here we go. Make the last 3 turns. There's one. This is number 2. there's the house. This is stop number, or turn number 3. Oh shit. Well, if Debbie's here, Debbie's gone out to grab my food, I think. So, and there you see the problem with the gear shift. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, it's really kind of sticky. Doesn't want to go nicely. So let's get into the driveway, back into space. Oh, I think I hear something knocking underneath. Oh, so nice to finally be home. Let's get nice and close. There we go. Okay, now. Alright. Close this out here. Okay, so you see we're down in park. So it's not, but it's, I don't know, it's sticking. It's not as, it's particularly going up in reverse, it's not good. It's hard to go down to reverse, hard to go to neutral, and then it's easy once you get there and then back. I really have to kind of push it. So I'll send an email over to my service manager here, and I'll pop over there and see him and see if there's something that maybe they can do an adjustment or something on just to get this right. Because I'm tired of this. I just want this done, and I gotta get paperwork together, and then that's it. So that's it. We're home. Let's shut down, and thank you for joining me for this long trip. You'll probably see me at some point. I don't know when. Bye.